911 callers left on hold, others rerouted, some simply left unanswered. All of that was a reality on May the 16th when that deadly tornado struck the city of St. Louis. Tonight, 5 on your side's Brent Solomon looks into the surge of 911 calls on that afternoon and whether there is a need to take a new approach to keeping people safe.
Sometimes when I close my eyes, I see the bricks.
A month after May's tornado claimed the life of 74-year-old Patricia Pendleton here at Centennial Christian Church.
Everything still feels very surreal.
I returned to the scene with DeMarco Davidson. He's one of 3 people inside when the EF3 tornado struck.
Then some of the walls in the church actually started vibrating violently. So we were upstairs, we fell downstairs.
Surrounded by rubble, somehow he still had his phone in hand.
After like spitting, getting debris out my mouth, out my nose, I was like, okay, I need to call 911. I called 911 and it said, thank you for calling the 9 emergency hotline. If this is an emergency, please hang up the call 911. So like maybe I dialed the wrong number. So I hung up, called 911 again. And it said the same thing.
He was able to reach friends and family who also called for help. A friend soon arriving with a chainsaw. First responders eventually arrive after navigating treacherous conditions.
We have multiple power lines, poles broke. We had a building collapse next to the engine house.
Multiple trees down on Page Avenue. That's good. Power's out to the entire area.
Listen how quickly things escalated.
The streets are impassable in most locations, and we have multiple gas leaks and power lines down.
With so many people trying to reach 911.
We have one injured civilian on the fourth floor. We're going to need somebody to fill in for us on that Kensington run.
All companies stand by. All companies stand by. We're going to need a medic unit. Urgent.
From an off-duty firefighter called me on the cell phone. He couldn't get through to you. There's a fire in the 4300 block of John.
Did they say what kind of fire, Chief?
Okay. He said fire in the building.
Fire in the building. Thank you, Chief. 806, no squad available.
Paul Rauner is with Siren GPS, a company that compiles 911 data primarily to notify schools.
If you look at the first hour from 2:30 to 3:30, the call volume for East Central Dispatch, which is immediately west of the city in the path of the tornado, they were up 5 times their normal volume for that first hour. The city of St. Louis was at least double.
Here's a look at the numbers his company pulled for area dispatch centers. On May 9th, between 2:30 and 5 p.m., 374 calls. During that same time period, on May 16th, 692 calls. Then, a week later, back to normal with 316 calls. A spokesperson for the city's Office of Public Safety saying in a statement, during a 5-hour time span, the city's 911 system experienced an unprecedented volume of 1,537 emergency calls. As designed, overflow calls were automatically routed to the county's emergency system for additional support. However, due to the storm's trajectory originating in the county and moving into the city, their system was also quickly overwhelmed, resulting in calls being rerouted back to the city.
They can't add 5 times the dispatch. They just don't even have the footprint for it. So the calls are going to go somewhere else.
Rauner says some municipalities create an even bigger support system.
Ladue used to have 1 dispatch operator. They joined another larger dispatch operation that's essentially an agency that's run by a number of municipalities sharing the dispatch. That's probably the trend going forward. The other side of that is that if you had it all centralized, then you're going to get somebody who has no idea what your neighborhood's like when they try to send somebody there.
Just recognize that, wait a minute, now calling 911 is not going to get us out of here.
Davidson supports any plan that would get a quicker response when you need 911.
They got to be able to make sure they have a plan to support people and if and when emergency strikes, because it will happen.
I asked city officials a series of questions. How many dispatchers were working at the time? Are there pay disparities among dispatchers that could contribute to turnover? And will the new state control of police impact 911 operations? All of those questions went unanswered after 2 weeks
of trying to get you answers.
All right, so Brent, obviously we're not the first city in America that's had to deal with some
Oh, yeah.
disasters. Have city leaders here reached out to other places to get a better idea of what they're doing and how it could possibly help us out?
Well, the city's response was just what you saw, but they told me they are looking at making some improvements by reviewing operations and collaborating. But I can tell you this. Illinois has a statewide system where all municipalities there, except for Chicago, have consolidated 911 services. So, Illinois State Police controls their 911 system. That's instead of individual cities and counties controlling it.
I'll say this, we got to do a better job.
Well, we'll see what
A
happens.
lot of people were leaning on that to happen for them and it didn't.
Let's
so.
hope there are answers soon.
All right, thank you, Brent.